All right, so we will be talking about Ephesians 5, verse 15 and 17. And let me just give you a little bit of background with the first five verses. It talks about how we should walk in love, but we are not going to talk about it today. And from verses 7 to 14, it talks about walking as a children of light. So today we will talk about 15 to 17. How we're going to be walking circumspectly, or how we're going to be walking carefully. Okay? So let's start. My purpose today is for us to hopefully answer the following questions: how to walk with God carefully. Second is how to redeem the time. And the third is how to know the will of God. Okay. So let's go to verse 15 first. It says, "Look carefully, then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise." So our first, it's like a subtitle for walking circumspectly, is that we look carefully. Before we make that step, we look carefully. Right? Who among you guys seen a movie We Were Soldiers? Nobody? Mel Gibson? Eugene? No, nobody. We Were Soldiers. It's about like a World War II, and then of course the Americans went there for a fight, and then there's a lot of landmines on that land, and every time they make a wrong step, hello. Every time they make a wrong step, boom. So they have to really assess every step of the way. So looking carefully is paying close attention, right? We should be focusing on our step, not just the bigger things, but to the details. Sometimes in our life, we just want the bigger ones, and we didn't realize that the small things lead us to the big things, right? So we sometimes we do that. When Paul talks about walk in this context, that means our life and behavior, right? We will walk carefully on how we live this life as a Christian life, specifically, and how we behave. How we behave. Our Christian walk, our Christian life, assessing carefully how we walk, watching ourselves that we are aligned, aligned, not aligned, right? With our Christian calling, which is what? To glorify our God the Father. When Ezra starts to walk, he's only 11 months. He starts to creep, and then until now he runs and he jumps, and But when infant toddler walks, they don't look where they go. They don't look their steps, right? So most of the time they fall, right? Even if they go to a step, they will like something like that, right? So that's how they walk. So but for us Christians, hopefully we're not like that, right? we just don't walk and then fall, right? So we have to pay close attention to where we're walking, right? Uh, as Christians, we should look first carefully before we walk, assessing accurately before making that decision to make that first step. That first step, every time we make a decision or we make an action, is always crucial. Once you make that step, there you go. Whether you did the right thing or you did the wrong one, right? So everyone is so serious. I can, I can, I can see your eyes. I'm smiling. You shouldn't wear your mask. Anyway, so yeah, uh, once you step on uh, life's landmines, and it, boom, it explodes. That's it. That's the wrong move, right? There is no turning back. Just like the movie River Soldier, once you step the landmines, you lose one leg, or you're dead, right? So let us be careful for the landmines in our lives. They're out there, and we will talk to that on the second point later, right? So there are a lot of landmines in work, and sometimes in our family, uh, wherever we go, there are a lot of landmines because we live in this world that we are still fighting for this. And the ruler of this world, right? And he always finds a way to make us trip, to make us not go this way, but this way, that way, that way, that way. And then we go back. And we lost a lot of time already. So let's be careful of the landmines. In Psalms 119, 105, if you can open your Bible there, we can look carefully by what? It says, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. That's the secret. The word of God. There's nothing else. There's nothing else. Not the encyclopedia. Not the National Geographic. It's the word of God. Amen? There's nothing else. Okay, agent's telling me, check the check the pulpit because it might be you might do something and it might it might get destroyed. uh, the word of God, nothing else. It says if we have the word of God, it is the lamp to my feet. When we wake up in the middle of the night, we don't want to turn on the lights because we don't want Ezra to get distracted in the light and he will wake up. So it's like, you're blind. And sometimes I step on Christine's feet and I make sure I don't step on Ezra's feet because I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to hurt my wife too. I love my wife, of course. But yeah, because of course Christine is taller than Ezra. So sometimes you step on the wrong thing, you know? Uh, when there's no light, it's hard. Amen? Amen. And the source of our light right here. Right here. It's not the hydro in Toronto. That's the physical light. This is our light for our spiritual walk. I used to work in a banana plantation, eh? I don't know if maybe some of you can relate. My company has 28,000 hectares of banana, and I have I think around 5 to 6,000 to look over with. So my position is compliance supervisor. So I will be the one to implement the standard operating procedure of the company. So every time I go to the plant, I can shut down that plant or I can let them continue if there's minor details. So every time I go inside the plant, you know what people do? They will like, Sir, Vergel is here, come in. Clean that one, get that one. Fix that one. Wear your PPE, personal protective equipment, because I'm checking on that, everything, every details, every action of the one that packs the banana, like I know you guys see Metro Del Monte or whatever Metro. Mostly some of the bananas here comes from Mexico. But we have North Korea, South Korea, China, New Zealand. That's our market for our bananas. So every time I go inside the plant, they were like, so attentive. Every move. Because they know They know that I have the authority either to discipline that person or even to the point to shut down that plant. I did shut down when I first moved to Tagum, which is Kuya Eugene's place. When I first moved to Tagum, I shut down 12 packing plants, small packing plants. I can't, I can't do anything about it. They're just major conformances. And because of that major conformances, we will have problems in the international market. When you send them bananas that is not in accordingly to the standard of the market, they will throw one trailer ban of banana, and it will cost us 300,000 pesos every time we throw that, or even more than now because it's expensive now. So I'm like that. I'm very strict. You have to do this, like that, like this. We should follow this. Should follow this. So every time I got this threat for doing that, shutting down. I think maybe more than 300 people lost their job for a week, and they have to fix their processing plant, or we call it the packing plant, to enable to pass to the standard of the company. That's my job, to check people, right? But here, do we have somebody to check our actions, our behavior? Do we have? What do you think? No, nobody check us. It's only here, the Word of God. Every time we do that action, it should be aligned in the Word of God. Amen? All right. So I was planning to have 10 pages, 1 pages, 10 minutes, but I have 10 pages of 6 pages, so that's already more than an hour. Anyway, this is short. This is a short sermon. Okay, so we look carefully. That's the first one for walking circumspectly, and the second one is we should be a wise walker. Should be a wise walker. And let's come back to verse 15. We walk not as what? Unwise, but as wise. So true wisdom always comes from where? From God. And it is tied to God's word. Right? Jesus Christ being a man is our greatest example. Right? On how to walk with wisdom in this earth, living perfectly for 3 years, living perfectly with no sin, display perfect wisdom by perfectly living in line with God's word or with the Father's will. Do you remember King Solomon? Let's open the Bible in 1 Kings. 1 Kings. Chapter 3. Maybe Brother Jess can, verse 3 to 12. Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of David, his father. Only he sacrificed and made offerings at the high places. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. Solomon used to offer 1,000 burnt offerings on that altar. At Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, "Ask, what shall I give you?" So God is really pleased with Solomon because of his offering to God. Verse 6, and Solomon said, "You have shown great and steadfast love to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you in faithfulness, in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart toward you. And you have kept for him his great and steadfast love, and have given him a son to sit on his throne this day." Verse 7, "And know, Lord my God, you have made your servant king in place of David, my father. Although I am but a little child, I do not know how to go out or come in." What did Solomon is lacking? He said, I cannot rule this kingdom. I mean, this this place. I mean, I'm too young. Too young. I'm a king, but I don't know how. I don't know. Solomon has all the possessions, right? He has all the girls. He has all the girls. He has all the armies. He has all materials he needed. But verse 8, and your servant is in the midst of your people when you have chosen a great people, too many to be numbered or counted or multitude. His word. There's too many people to handle. I don't know how to handle this. Verse 9, give your servant therefore an understanding mind to govern your people, that I may discern between good and evil, for he is able to govern this, your great people. Verse 10, it pleased the Lord that Solomon had asked this. And verse 11, and God said to him, because you have asked this, and have not asked for yourself long life, or riches, or the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern what is right. If there's a person who will ask you for something, what do you want? I want to win the lotto. I want to have that. Somebody in Ontario won 150. Is that 150? I don't know. Just last week. What do you want? If somebody will ask you, what do you want me to do for you? What do you want? What do you think you're gonna answer? Eh? Hey, so give me more money. Long life. Long life. I don't wanna have a long life because I don't wanna. Yeah, I I can see my customers in Wiltrans in 80s and 85s, and I helped them in the bus, and they were like, "I'm so tired by just getting inside the bus." And when they're there waiting for the bus, and there's no kidney control anymore, and they're like, can you stop the bus? I want to pee. And really, some of them, they already do it inside the bus because they can't hold her. So I don't want a long life if I'm gonna be asking, because I don't want to be peeing anywhere inside the Beltrans bus. Yeah. What do you want? And God said to him, because you have asked this and have not asked for yourself long life or riches or the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern what is right. Verse 12, behold, I now do according to your word. Behold, I give you a wise and discerning mind, so that none like you has been before you, and none like you shall arise after you. Amen. What a story uh, with King Solomon, right? Never asked for anything. Never asked for long life. Never asked for riches. Never asked for wisdom. Because he knew that only God can give it to him. Amen? So in life, we do not need a person like me to check the way we live our lives, right? Uh, but ultimately, what we need is the Word of God who will direct our path. If we have the wisdom from God, we will be able to make wise decisions in our everyday walk. It will help us also to spend our time wisely in things that are fully worth all our time and effort. Let's go to the second point. Redeeming the time. I like how the King James Version does the wording of this. In English Standard Version, it says, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. But in King James Version, it says, redeeming the time. Sounds really good because time is evil. Let me show you top 10 websites. Brother Jess, if you can help me out here. There you go. This, these are the top 10 websites that people, visited or, okay, let's go through the 10. And do we belong? Let's go. Number one. Ta-da! Facebook. Who don't have cell phone here? Everybody got cell phone? In a day, have you ever not gone to Facebook? No, no. That finger is really going there, right? Check messages, friends, scroll, scroll, scroll. Oh, pastor is posting Levi. Oh, Kuya G is doing the biking. Like, love. Oh, the X-Men, hey, they're having fun. Like, Facebook, number one. How many hours? 446 billion. I was trying to calculate a lifetime of a person. How many hours? I don't know. Of course, we have 60 hours in 60 hours. No, 24 hours in a day. I was like, I'm already lost. 24 hours times 365. I don't know. You calculate. I don't have my cell phone. 365 times. Let's just say 70. How many hours is that? I don't know. Maybe Brother just could calculate it. Just kidding. But yeah, I leave it to you. But well, we spend how many hours in Facebook? 446 billion. Billion. Next to that is Google. Can we go back that, Brother Jess? Google. So every time you research, am I gonna be rich? uh, what's the top 10 places to go? I always do that. Top 10 places to go to Quebec. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the top 4 if I have time. Next one is I think Instagram. Oh, YouTube. YouTube. Guys, we like biking, so we like biking, basketball. Then we search there. Well, this guy can do this, blah blah, blah. Right? Uh, Before Twitter, I don't use Twitter. I'm not a Twitter. Sorry, I'm not a Twitter. I'm not a Twitter guy. It's just too much. Number 5, Instagram. I know a lot of young people Instagram. Yeah, yeah, a lot of young people. I have Instagram, but I seldom, maybe once, twice a week. I don't want to like. I always see you guys there. I was like, oh, what's the first thing Instagram, right? 8.9 billion hours. How much did you share? How much did you share? Let's go just to the top 10, Brother Jess, if we can. Oh, see? In 1 year, Brother Jess said it's 8,760 hours times your lifetime, times 70. Just say 70. 70 is enough for me. I know you guys want to have a long life. I can drive you in Wiltrans. 8,760. Brother Alejo, can you calculate? 8,760 times 70. That is 613, 200 hours in 70 years. That's a lot of hours. But still, Facebook is what? 464 billion, 444 billion, not 100. How much did you share? Did we spend too much? Number 1 point, be a good steward of God's time. Be a good steward steward of God's time. Verse 16 says, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. Some of us are crazy busy. The Wednesday prayer meeting book. Some of us are crazy busy uh, with secular work. I was reminded with this lady. I was still in Roseland Avenue in my first 2 years here in Canada, and we met this lady, Filipina, doesn't sleep, doesn't sleep. She's always in her car. She had 2 full-time works and 1 part-time. Ate, where do you sleep? I sleep in my client's place. She's a caregiver. I was like, what? She will only go to the apartment, get a shower, get new clothes, another work. Ate, why are you doing that? Is he not Filipino? Because I have nephews, I have brothers and sisters in the Philippines that I needed to help. Wow. Wow. I know some of you can relate that. Eh? Sacrificing even the Sunday. Just to have more riches, more money. Right? I felt pity on her because she doesn't seem to have time for herself. Or should I say, she has this entire time thinking just for herself. I had a chance to talk to her, and that conversation. I don't even know what she's doing right now, but yeah, so sad. And we know we Filipinos are really a helpful kind of person. Like, hindi natin matitiis yung mga relatives natin na nangangailangan ng tulong, they needed help, and we have to rescue. But how long? How long? Is it going to be a maintenance? or or it's just a one-time help? And we Filipinos are well known as hospitable people, right? Every time we have a visitor, wow, it's a feast. Okay, it's a feast. Let's open our Bible in Luke chapter 10, verse 38 to 42. And we're gonna have a lot of verses. Okay, so this is the story about Martha and Mary. Some of you may be familiar in this. Now, as they went on their way, Jesus entered the village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. Okay? But Martha was distracted with much serving, and she went up to him, said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Complain, right? Tell her then to help me. All right, verse 41. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things. Verse 42, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. What's that good portion of Mary? She spent the time listening to Jesus. Are we too busy? Are we crazy busy with all the beautiful sceneries of Ontario, Quebec, whatever, and we forget the time that we have to spend with God. I'm not I'm not saying that we don't have to go, no. But every time we go there, I hope that we still glorify God. Amen. Wherever we are, right? So I think again I'm gonna be back to Filipino as hospitable people, uh, especially when there are foreigners coming into your house in the Philippines. The last chicken standing. I tell you, that chicken will be slaughtered. That's how he is, right? How he is. And we don't even have our family first to eat. Let the visitor eat first. I was like, Mom, there's nothing there anymore. The visitors are all full and our family is hungry. So wrong. But that's how he is, right? The cow that just gave birth, tutumba na yan. you know? That's how it is, right? My point here is we will gladly serve our visitor's stomach well, right? We do it because not just to be honored as a host, but to get the impression that we are glad you visited us and that we are honored that you are here. Uh, but Mary choose the good portion, listening and spending time with Jesus. Amen? 35 minutes already? Okay. Okay. Uh, Let me just continue. We thought we're so busy doing the church ministries. This is for our leaders. Sometimes our leaders are Sunday school teachers, us. Um, we thought that we're too busy doing the church ministries or events or activities, and we forgot that very good portion that Mary have, right? We're too busy doing a lot of things. We forget that portion that for ourselves to feed us, to let us grow more spiritually in God. Time well spent for with God. When was the last time you truly spent time with God alone? This morning, amen. One of John Piper's preaching, challenging everyone to have a holy ambition. Holy ambition. Like in 5 years right now, what is your holy ambition? What do you want to be spiritually? And he encouraged everyone to get a retreat by yourself, maybe a day or two. Just you, just you. Talk to God. God, what do you want me? Do you want me to be a teacher? Do you want me to be a choir member? If you're a singer, if you're not, please. No. Right? Do you want me to be a pastor? Maybe some of the young people, or maybe some of you still wants to be a pastor. What's your holy ambition? Some of us spend too much time in church activities that we neglect our families. I'm guilty of this 2 months, 3 months ago. I talked to God. I I'm wrong. Forgive me, God, that I can feel it through Christine that she's affected because I can't spend more time with them. I ask God, give me some time for them. Forgive me, Lord. It's just the way it is. Sometimes we neglect our families because we're too busy uh, doing God's work, right? We need to find balance to all of this in order for us to for a healthy growth. Okay. Who among here never grows old? I had my haircut last Thursday, so I look 10 years younger now. It's my first haircut after 2 years. Never grows old, Kuya Eugene? You never grow old? Eugene, never grow old? Kalabaw lang ang tumatanda. Do you believe that we have a limited supply of time? You believe that? That we don't have the eternity here? So for that, second point, we have to have a good planning and prioritizing. Right? To redeem the time, not just we will have, what's a first one? Be a good steward of God's time, but be a good planner and prioritize God's time. When we go to a trip, especially if it's a long trip, we develop a plan of your activities to maximize what we can do and prioritize places we want to go. Like what I said earlier, we go top 10 of Quebec, and I'm going to spend time with this. If you have 2 days, I'm going to spend time in the hotel sleeping at this time, and at this time, 7 to 9, I'm going to go here, and next, I'm going to go there. We do that all the time. Right? We plan, we prioritize, which is the nicest tourist spot. Same thing at work. When you go to work, you're not just gonna start your day with like you plan. What's my first thing to do? What does my boss tells me first to be finished? Right? And we have I have some brothers here in X-Men, Brother Leo, Kuya Romy, Brother Romy, and Kuya Eugene. When we have our camp last year, we did this Monday to Sunday. So we listed all our activities from Monday, 24 hours. What did you sleep 8 hours? You eat 30 minutes. You do that from morning till Sunday. We all realize that we only spent this amount of time for God. How about you? How about you? Let's try to evaluate our day. Maybe just a Tuesday. What did I do last Tuesday? I eat, I forgot to pray, I forgot the devotional, I just go to work, I finish the day, I'm tired, I didn't even pray, I sleep. Where's God? Repeat. Wednesday. Itlog. It's a challenge for everyone to us today. We have 60 seconds in 1 minute. And that minute will become 1 hour. 1 hour becomes 24, and that 24 becomes a day. Then 1 day becomes a year. How do we do with our time? Right? Can we say like the Apostle Paul said in 2 Timothy 4:7? I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Are we doing God's thing? Or are we just doing ourselves thing? We believe that everything comes from God or He created. Can we remember the The parable of the rich fool? Anybody? Rich fool? Luke chapter 12, verse 13, 21. We're going to go quickly. When he wants to extend his barn because he has a lot of what? Harvest. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." We're going to do this quickly. But he said to him, "Man, who made me a judge or arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions." And he told them a parable saying, "The land of a rich man produced plentifully. And he thought at himself, what shall I do? I've got a lot of money." Well, who has here a lot of money? "For I have nowhere to store my crops." Overflowing. I said, "I will do this. I will tear down my barns. This is too small. I'm gonna build a bigger one, and build larger ones, and there will I store all my grain and my goods." 19. "I will say to my soul, you have ample of goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry." 20. This portion. "But God said to him, Fool, this night your soul is required." What are you gonna do with your larger barns? What are you gonna do with your $1 million in the bank? My beloved brothers and sisters in Christ, are we too busy spending our time to accumulate the positions this world can offer? Jesus tells us here that our life is not about gathering wealth. And if we are blessed by God, we should be a blessing in the lives of others. We should share. Amen? Don't hoard. And help build the kingdom of God. If God has blessed you with material wealth, set not your heart on those things. Amen? Last, the will of God, and we're done. We're just going to give you a lot of verses here, and hopefully you guys will. Verse 17 reads, "Therefore do not be foolish, but understands the will of the Lord is." Who do we represent here on earth as Christians? We represent what? Christ, right? We represent Christ. We are to be the image of Christ anywhere. At workplace, at home, everywhere. The hardest one maybe at home, especially to the dads. It's the hardest one. Right? In Romans 12:1, let's read this. I'm just going to go through these verses. "I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship." Verse 2, "Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect." Matthew 5:48, "You therefore must be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect." Matthew 6:10, this is the Lord's Prayer. "Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." I think that is the will of God for us. So pandemic is almost over, or maybe another wave is coming. cases are coming up again. But stores are open, park and beaches too. Tendency of us Christians, especially here in Canada, where we only have a limited time during summer, it's warm weather, we explore, we go to these places, right? We fully occupied ourselves all days of the week, including weekends. Weekends, while the weather is nice. I just hope and pray that while we are out there enjoying God's creation, having fun, we are not guilty of giving up God's time. That wherever we are, we still worship God and we still glorify God. That we will not replace God for what this world can offer. Amen? May we still glorify God in everything we do, as 1 Corinthians 10:31 says, so whether you eat or drink, whatever you do all to the glory of God. So in summary, as Christians, first we should walk circumspectly by looking carefully of our step, with the Word of God as a lamp to our feet and a light to our path, and by walking wisely. Second, we redeem our time by being a good steward of God's time and a good planning and prioritizing of God's time. And lastly, we should understand the will of God in our lives. Finally, not done yet. Are you a YOLO Christian? What do you mean by YOLO? You only live once, so you do all this crazy thing and everything, including the weekends or including God's time? Or are you a YOLOK? You know what YOLOK means? You only live once for Christ. Amen? That should, we should be like that. We only live once for Christ, because we don't have the eternity here on earth. And when the time comes that we come face to face with Christ, as Christ will tell us that, good job. Thy faithful servant. Amen? Let's pray.
The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And give you peace. And give you peace. The Lord make his face to shine upon you. And be gracious unto you. And be gracious. The Lord be gracious, gracious